Imagine two people pulling in the exact same six-figure salary. One walks away completely free at age 45. The other is stuck grinding in that office until they're 65. On paper, their lives look identical. They pay the same taxes and work the same hours. But their internal focus, the way they weigh the value of a dollar, is actually worlds apart. We are conditioned from day one to measure our success by what we consume. As our paychecks grow, so do the expectations. Bigger houses, newer cars, premium brands. This is where the divergence happens. If you scale up your spending every time you scale up your earning, you aren't buying your way out of the rat race. You are building a more comfortable cage. It is the result of a specific psychological framework. The mechanism that keeps those high earners trapped is a psychological glitch called hedonic adaptation. Look at this chart mapping human happiness after a lifestyle upgrade. The thrills a new car causes a spike in dopamine, but it decays immediately, pulling you back to your baseline. Because that rush normalizes quickly, you must buy the next upgrade and the next to feel that temporary high again. The finish line is constantly moving. And that moving target is the reason thousands of people making incredible money are permanently tethered to jobs they actively resent. Stopping the cycle requires more than a strict budget. It requires identifying the specific mental triggers that keep us chasing the horizon and choosing to write a different script for what success looks like. The first shift begins by changing the unit of measurement used for every purchase. When the average consumer looks at a price tag, they ask, "Can I afford this?" The early retiree asks, "How many hours of worn life does this cost?" When you calculate exactly how much of your finite time on Earth is required to pay for a luxury item, that object stops looking like a reward. It acts as a direct tax levied against your future freedom. Once you adopt this time-cost analysis, the urge to buy expensive, rapidly depreciating status symbols tends to evaporate. Wealth accumulation really begins the moment you stop trading your days for objects and start fiercely protecting your time from consumption. The engine driving this lifestyle is an extreme capacity for delayed gratification. Society demands immediate, visible results right now. People who reach financial independence operate on multi-decade timelines. This graph illustrates the mathematical reality of compound growth. For years, the progress is agonizingly slow and almost entirely invisible before it finally curves violently upward. A dollar spent vanishes in an instant. A dollar invested acts like a tireless employee working around the clock, compounding your leverage year after year to build an unassailable financial base. But here is the catch. Sacrificing luxuries and waiting patiently for 20 years is the method, but it is still missing the deepest shift. Even with the power of compounding, the cycle only breaks when you decide that money has a higher purpose than buying comfort. The financially independent organize their entire lives around a single word: optionality. The default view of money is that it is a medium of exchange to be used for acquiring physical things. Early retirees treat capital as stored choices. Inside their accounts, they aren't seeing numbers, they're seeing a library of potential futures. Those stored choices grant you leverage. They give you the power to walk away from a toxic boss, pack up and move to a new city, or take massive entrepreneurial risks without the fear of ruin. Having real wealth doesn't mean owning everything the world has to offer. It means possessing the power to choose your own path. There is a massive misconception about this entire movement. Retiring early rarely means you stop working or producing value. The actual goal is absolute sovereignty. It is about waking up and having total, unconditional control over how you spend your day. By adopting this alternative psychology, you build a quiet, compounding advantage over everyone still exhausted by the race to maintain appearances. When you strip away all the illusions, wealth is simply the freedom to experience life entirely on your own terms. The goal isn't to retire from work. The goal is to never be forced to do work you don't want to do. If you want to explore the hidden behaviors that shape financial success, subscribe to Silent Influence for more deep dives every week.